Hi guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're looking at the Pagani design PD1689. This is an homage to a more obscure watch from the Rolex catalog, the Rolex Cellini date reference 50519. So this is a watch that I've had my eyes on for a little while because of the attractive price point, the sweeping quartz movement, and the interesting dial and case. So you can pick this up on various retailers on AliExpress. I picked up mine from Pagani Design AliExpress store for $59. It looks like it'll be right around $50 on the 11/11 sales. So what exactly are you getting for your roughly $50 to $60? Well, you're getting a full 316L stainless steel case, sapphire crystal, a screw down crown and case back, and 200 meters of water resistance, as well as a Seiko sweeping quartz movement. So it seems like a really attractive watch for the price. Do you think it's worth it? Let's jump right in and find out. So first things first, as always, we start off with the dimensions. So the case diameter is 40 millimeters. Case thickness is 10.1, nice and thin. The lug width is 20 millimeters, and the overall case length is 47.4. So it's a pretty nice size, maybe a little bit large for a dress watch. I know this thing in like 38 millimeters would be awesome, but it's not overly large or anything like that. And because it's so thin and it wears so low to the wrist, I mean, you can see there, it's got some nice curvature to the lugs there. So it does wear pretty good. So I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on the wrist for you. So here it is on my 7.5 inch wrist. You can see it works pretty good for me. I do wish it was a little bit smaller just because it's a dress watch, but it's not overly large or anything like that. Looks pretty good. The fluted bezel, I wish it played with the light a little bit more, but it doesn't look bad. I just kind of expect a little bit extra sparkle from it, but yeah. You can see here, it sits nice and low on the wrist. It is, really thin. It does have a decent amount of curvature to the lugs too. Fully polished case, which looks really good, and yeah, the crystal giving off a lot of reflections, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But as far as you get a lot of sparkle off the indices on the dial, I think it looks pretty good. Getting it in some direct sunlight, you can really see that guilloche pattern looking really nice. You can, in direct sunlight here, you can see that it gets a little bit washed out, so it's a little hard to read, but for the most part the legibility is pretty decent. So yeah, I'm going to go inside and throw this on some straps. Keep in mind, this does require curved spring bars, so we'll kind of touch base about that in a little bit. But yeah, you need some curved spring bars for this case. But let's go inside, throw it on some straps, and we'll get back to the review. So you remove those spring bars, throw them on your favorite leather strap, and you've got a winning combo. So, I mean, this looks great. Even the curvature of the actual spring bars and the strap now make it look pretty good, I think. Just kind of a pain in the butt, but it is what it is, and this is what we have to deal with. It's not a huge pain, but yeah. But yeah, I think this combo looks really good. And perhaps you want to dress it down a little bit. Maybe take those same spring bars, throw them in a canvas strap, and here you go. I actually don't think it looks that bad, surprisingly. Again, sits really low. Looks really good. But I'm going to get a little crazy here now. And just in case you're a complete madman and want to throw your nice little elegant dress watch on a NATO strap, this is what it'll look like. Still looks pretty low to the wrist. It's a very thin watch, so this combo is super comfortable actually, but not something that I would ever do. But in case you are kind of crazy, go for it. All right, let's go back inside and get back to this review. So let's zoom in, talk about the case finishing here. So this, first off, the case is fully polished. There's not a single brush surface on it. So, Pagani's not really known for their perfect polishing, but I think they did a really good job with this one, especially for the price. I mean, I'm not seeing any major issues with the polishing on this, surprisingly. So, yeah, they did a pretty good job on it. Really happy with the case finishing, actually. The case back, it's a screw down case back. It's got a interesting design on there. I'm not sure why they are showing an underwater scene for a dress watch, but that's what they chose for this one. Obviously just a recycled case back, but it does have your water resistant 200 meters stainless steel and Pagani design PD1689 there. So that's nice to see. And you can see here, during some strap changes, I did scratch the case, and I'm not seeing anything underneath it. So I'm inclined to believe this is a fully stainless steel case. So that's nice to see. You've got a signed crown here at the 3 o'clock position. Nicely done, as usual with Pagani. Overall, I think the case is done really well. The bezel on it, it's very interesting. It's a 2-step design. So let's see if I can show you here. So you had the fluted bit on the bottom part of the bezel, and then on the top part you actually have like a domed, rounded kind of lip. So it's definitely an interesting look to it. Again, pretty nicely done. You can see, zooming in real close, you can see a little bit of rough finishing. So it doesn't sparkle as much as I thought it would. So maybe that's something they can improve on, but it does look pretty good, and it definitely has an overall very interesting look to it. So yeah, really nicely done. Obviously fully borrowed from the Rolex Cellini. So let's talk about the crystal on this. So crystal is one of my main complaints with it. As you can see right here, I mean, the reflections on it are pretty bad, but I am testing it, and it does test as sapphire, so that's nice to see. I thought for sure this was going to be a mineral crystal, and I'd have to call them out on it, but it is sapphire, so that's nice. It's a single dome, so you get distortion on the end, as you can see there. It does sit a little bit above that bezel, but my main problem with it is that it just picks up so much. You can see right about there. You can see the reflection of the window, but you can also see like the entire dial gets whited out a little bit. And that's my problem with single dome crystals, is you get that effect right there quite often. So you get a lot of light play off of it, which I'm not a huge fan of. I wish they would just use a flat crystal or a double dome. It is sapphire, so it's got that going for it. So let's talk about the kind of the star of the show, and that's the dial on this thing. So the dial is absolutely incredible. Really nice guilloche pattern. Kind of radiates from the middle there, and it's more pronounced on the outside and almost nothing on the inside. Really nicely done. You've got applied indices at all the hour markers, so you have kind of a double applied. It is one indice, it's not 2 separate ones, so it is just one indice at the 12 o'clock position. All the others are just single applied batons, and you can see they're split in the middle by a minute ring. So really interesting layout. I do kind of like it. Looks pretty good. And then at the 3 o'clock position, you do have a date wheel. So this is a date indicator. You see this is on the November 2nd is when I'm shooting this video. So it's on the little dot between the 1 and the 3 there. And that also is nicely accented by some polished rings and another guilloche pattern inside there. So overall, I think they did a really good job on the dial. All the printing is done really nicely. You do have the Pagani design logo. At the 12 o'clock position, you have PT time at the 6 o'clock position, and then 20 bar 200 meters. So they claim this is a 200 meter watch. Take that for what it is. It is a screw down crown. It is screw down case back. So I'm sure it's got all the gaskets in there, but this thing's probably only going to see rain. But anyway, the hands on it are done really nicely faceted, you can see there. So they do sparkle pretty nicely, and I think the size of them, if you look at the original Rolex Cellini, the minute hand actually reaches out to this minute track. It doesn't go all the way past it. So they are really long for this dial layout, but it doesn't look bad. It does take a little bit of getting used to read it properly, read it quickly, but it has all the minute markers there, so it's pretty legible for the most part. And at times you do get those hands just disappearing, kind of like that right there. But because they're faceted, it's usually not a problem to read it. So you'll notice the second hand is sweeping along there, right? Well, this is a sweeping quartz movement. So that's 4 ticks of the second. I've had this movement in a couple watches now. It's a similar movement. This is the Seiko VH65. The first position here, as you pull it out, changes your date. And the second position hacks the movement, and that's where you can set the time. Pressing the crown, everything is really nice. Crown threading, again, really nice from Pagani. They usually do crown threads really nicely. Good good size on the crown, good grip on the crown, no problems with it. The movement should have like a 2-year battery life, and obviously it's going to be accurate too within seconds a month. So I'm actually really happy with these VH movements that Seiko put out, and I like to see that they're starting to use these in a lot more watches, because they're actually really nice. And you can see here against another Pagani design with the NH35, the sweep is definitely not as smooth, but it's really not bad. It's a lot better than 1 tick per second like you get with most quartz watches. So really happy to see that. So let's talk about the strap on this. And this is the second flaw, I think, with this watch. And it's an unnecessary flaw. So obviously the strap on this, it's not good. It's your typical strap that you would get with this type of watch at this price point. It's a faux croc glossy leather strap. It is it doesn't even say genuine leather on it. So yeah, it is signed there with the Pagani design logo. No quick release or anything like that. You got a floating keeper here. The buckle is actually pretty nice. It's got a little bit of detail to it, and it is signed, so that's nice to see. But the strap itself, it's stiff. It is just not my style, I'll say that. But the big issue with this is that, I don't know if you can see it here, but you can see that it's actually curved. So this thing, like I mentioned earlier during the strap show, this is a curved spring bar watch, and you cannot replace this with a strap without curved spring bars. So anything that you have in your watch box that is quick release, that won't fit, and it's completely unnecessary. So give me 1 second. All right, so I just popped out the strap for you. Here you can see there's the spring bar that came with it. It's actually a pretty decent spring bar, but you can see that it's pretty curved there. And that's because the lug holes on this thing are really close to the case. You can see they chamfered this bottom corner here, right there. And that's trying to get more straps to fit on it, but they just didn't do it enough. It needs a bigger chamfer, but I mean, look how far inset those holes are. They could definitely bump those out a millimeter at least, or millimeter or two, and it would still fit. So I'm not sure why they chose to do that. Kind of makes it a pain in the butt. Like you mentioned, or like you saw earlier, it wasn't a huge deal. I can reuse these spring bars with any of my leather straps. It's just a matter of getting my quick release spring bars out of those old straps. That can be difficult at times, but so otherwise, yeah, I'm just not overly impressed with this strap. So just keep that in mind. You're going to want to put this on a different strap. It does look good on other straps, but you're going to have to get that curved spring bar to fit in there. So, but that's really my only 2 complaints is the crystal and the strap. So if you are interested in picking this up, I'll leave a link down below to purchase it. That is an affiliate link, and I really appreciate you guys using those links because it allows me to buy a watch and review a watch like this one. Not something I normally would have purchased, but because you guys use my links, putting it right back into the channel, getting some interesting watches for you guys to review. So thank you guys so much for using those links. I really do appreciate it. If you want to see some other pictures of this thing, not sure I'll be featuring this or keeping this in the collection, but do check out my Instagram down below. It's a nice place to see what's coming up next on the channel as well. And yeah, I think that is about it. If you guys have any questions or comments on this watch, drop them down below. I like chatting with you guys, and interested to hear what you guys think about this one. So that's about it. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.